Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and one of my very first sort of breakout recipes on this channel was for a keto corn tortilla, and I'll link to that at the end of this video if you're curious to watch that. I was really proud of that recipe. It was basically a 2 net gram of carbs tortilla that tasted like a corn tortilla because it had baby corn in it. Of course, that really sort of lit up the more dogmatic clean keto people who made sure to let me know about it in the comment section. That didn't really bother me all that much, but what did kind of bother me was that it was sort of a labor-intensive sort of a recipe. It wasn't the sort of thing that you could just whip up in an instant. And I wanted to make an easier, low-carb, clean keto tortilla. I was really struggling on how to get this tortilla to meet all of my ideal tortilla criteria until I saw a video for naan by Vernaz over on her channel, Low Carb Cooking and Having Fun, where she used paneer, an Indian cheese. Now I'll talk more about paneer when we get into the actual recipe, but I just want to make sure I give credit where credit is due, and I would have never come up with this had it not been for Vernaz. So I will link to her recipe, the inspirational recipe, down below in the description. Check out these tortillas here. This is the last batch I made. These are pliable, yet quite strong, very sturdy. Spectacular for enchiladas. And it smells kind of like a Dorito. So let's get into making the recipe. If there's any tips or asides or things like that that I need to share with you, we'll do that as we're cooking. And make sure to stick around to the end of the video because I will cover proactively all of your substitution questions. Now let's cook. In a fairly small mixing bowl, we will start with 1 tablespoon or 11 grams of hemp hearts. To this, we will add 1 tablespoon of Lupin flour, that's about 9 grams. 2 tablespoons of psyllium husk powder, that's about 25 grams. 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum, that's about 4 grams. Optionally, you can add 1 teaspoon, or again about 4 grams of taco seasoning. Be aware that some brands of taco seasoning do have cornmeal and sugar in them. So take a peek at the ingredients, make a decision if that's too dirty for you or not. And finally, 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. As with all of my recipes that use xanthan gum, I always mix the dry ingredients together first to avoid any sort of clumping. Now we'll set this aside. Next, we're going to measure out 200 grams of paneer. 202, I'm going to call that close enough. I'll cut this into cubes so that when I put it in the food processor, it crumbles more rapidly and doesn't just dance on top of the blades. So as I said, paneer is an Indian cheese. I buy this brand at Costco. It's a little over 2 pounds, a little less than a kilogram, 9.5 bucks, Costco. It is also a pretty easy cheese to make. If you'd like to make your own, just Google it, or I'm sure there's some other YouTube videos on making paneer. Next, we're going to run that paneer through our food processor until it's sort of like a meal type of texture. I find about 8 long pulses is usually what it takes to get it to where it needs to be. There you go. You can see the texture that we're shooting for. To this, we will add our dry ingredients. And then we will process for another 20 to 30 seconds until it's all incorporated and we've got a nice little flour. There we go, it's almost a little like grits. Then I have some very warm water, to which I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of lard. My lard was pre-measured, pre-portioned, and out in the freezer, so it's going to take a minute for this to dissolve. One of the things I really struggled with in this recipe was nailing the corn tortilla taste. And I didn't do it. I couldn't find an extract that got me where I wanted to go. I tried Nature's Flavors, I tried Amaretti, Capella, and One-on-One Flavors, both their cornbread and their corn tortilla. And what I discovered is even at quantities of up to 2 teaspoons, I really couldn't get that corn tortilla flavor. And in fact, on the non-One-on-One Flavors brands, I really got too much of a sweet taste, especially after turning these into chips. So for this recipe, I will be using the One-on-One Flavors corn tortilla. You have to buy this directly from One-on-One. Completely optional. I think it affects the smell, but not so much the taste. I find I don't get a whole lot of benefit beyond 2 or 3 squirts, which is probably around 1/3 of a teaspoon. With the food processor running, we'll add our lard and water. And we'll let that process until it starts to form a ball that more or less clears the sides of the bowl. We'll turn the dough out onto a piece of plastic wrap. Then using the wrap, I'm going to try and make this into sort of a log shape. At this point, the dough is very sticky, so you kind of want to minimize touching it with your hands. Once I feel pretty good about the shape, I'm going to wrap it. Try and tighten it up a little bit, pushing in on the ends, giving it a little twirl. Give it a little roll here. You'll see why I do this in a minute. It makes making the actual tortillas so much easier. Good enough. Now I'm going to let this sit for 20 minutes, and in a few minutes I'm going to start preheating my skillets. For this recipe, I use 2 cast iron skillets. You can just use 1, but if you have 2, you can have a nice assembly line thing going on, where you're pressing a tortilla, you have 1 cooking on the first side, you have 1 cooking on the second side, and then you have 1, well, you will have 1 on the cooling rack. And you just keep cycling those through about every 2 minutes. For the first cast iron skillet, I'm going to set it to somewhere around the low side of medium. On mine, that's right around a 3. For the second side skillet, we're going to set things to just a smidge over 2. Prior to the first tortilla, I only need to do this once, I give each of the skillets a tiny spritz of avocado oil. You can use any oil. Then I just use a paper towel to spread that around, give us a nice, thin, non-stick coating. In terms of the skillet temperature, it's less about the number on the dial and more about the actual temperature. I like the first skillet to be somewhere between 400 and 425, and the second skillet right in the 325 degree range, give or take. If you find that your tortillas are cooking a little bit too fast, you may need to dial back the temperature. Depending on the size of your tortilla press, this is going to yield 6 to 8, maybe even 9 tortillas. A couple of months ago, I bought this 10-inch tortilla press. It was like $42. A little expensive for a tortilla press, but it is worth every penny. This thing weighs a ton and creates great uniform tortillas up to about 8 or 9 inches, which is what the macros are based on in the recipe. If you have a smaller tortilla press, you're probably going to be looking at 8 to 9 tortillas. Incidentally, over the last handful of weeks, I have seen the prices fluctuate radically on this out on Amazon, anywhere from $42 to $125. So if you decide to buy one of these, make sure you're buying it in that $40, $45 range. I wouldn't pay any more. And if you do get the larger tortilla press, I really recommend getting these parchment discs. These make pressing out the tortillas a breeze. And I find I can use a pair of them for probably 3 batches of tortillas before they start getting, a little sketchy. Now we're going to take our masa and portion it out into however many tortillas you plan on doing. If you have a small tortilla press, you're probably going to get at least 8. Because I've got this larger press, I'm going to get 6. I use a bench scraper. This is a fantastic multi-purpose kitchen tool. It's great for cutting stuff up. It's great for scooping stuff up. It's great for cleaning off your cutting board. But we're going to use it to portion our dough. We'll lay down our first piece of parchment and our first disc of dough. Top of the second piece of parchment, and we press out. If you've ever had a problem getting a nice round tortilla, This disc thing, that's the trick. I'll usually give it a couple of turns just to try and get the most roundish shape that I can get. And I almost always screw up on the first one, so brace yourself for that. We'll peel this off. Gently peel back the other side of the parchment. And then onto our stove. Do not be timid when you're putting the tortilla down. You're not going to burn yourself, but if you get scared and jump away, you're going to mess up your tortilla. We'll let this go for about 2 minutes, and then we'll transfer it to the second side, and you'll sort of see the whole assembly line thing I've got going on. Now we just get our assembly line going. Gonna do my second one here. Now you could use a rolling pin if you want, but as you can see, using a tortilla press, super fast, super easy, nice round tortillas. We'll take our first tortilla, transfer it to skillet number 2. Next tortilla onto skillet 1. And again. I just love how quickly these come out round. Then over here, after about 2 minutes, we will remove our first tortilla to a cooling rack. Second tortilla onto the second skillet. And our third tortilla onto the first skillet. As you can see, using this particular tortilla press, you can get some pretty sizable tortillas. This one right here looks to be between 8 and 9 inches. And now for a taste test, I've got some pork carnitas, some pickled onion, carrot, jalapeno, and cilantro. Here we go. Well, first, the pork carnitas. Fantastic. That may have to be a future recipe. Wow. This is absolutely the best keto tortilla I have tasted. I love that they are way easier to make. Clean up, you're not really getting a whole lot of dishes dirty. You can make this completely clean keto, and even if you're rolling out 8-inch tortillas, it's less than 1 net gram of carbs per tortilla. And you can make tortilla chips out of them. Now I've tried frying them in different types of oils, just doesn't work out. I've tried drying them and frying them, doesn't work out so well. The best way I have found to make tortilla chips out of this is to cut these into wedges and then put them in a dehydrator at 135 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 57 degrees Celsius, for 5 hours. The resulting chip, crisp, crunchy, and they're resilient enough that they aren't going to break when you're dipping them into guacamole or pico de gallo or making a big plate of loaded nachos. I recommend storing them in a plastic bag along with a desiccant packet to absorb any moisture and to keep them nice and crisp. I'll link to all of this stuff down in the description below. In terms of substitutions, I really like using the hemp hearts. I like what it does to the texture. I also like what it does aesthetically, those little black dots that kind of make it look like a tortilla. But if you don't want to use hemp hearts, you can use almond flour, or if you want, you can even use pork rinds. For the Lupin flour, if you don't want to use that, you can use coconut flour, 1-to-1. Psyllium husk is what it is. Got to use that psyllium husk powder. For the paneer, you can also use queso fresco, a Mexican crumbling cheese. In my experience though, queso fresco is a more moist cheese than paneer, at least the brand that I buy. So you may want to dial back on the water to like a half a cup. I think that's 118 milliliters. And then just keep a tablespoon handy and add additional water until that dough is forming a ball that more or less cleans the sides of your food processor. Finally, if you don't want to use lard, you can use pretty much any kind of fat. Tallow, schmaltz, bacon drippings, olive oil, avocado oil. The one thing I recommend against for this particular recipe is butter. You can use it in the crackers that I made. link to right up there. But don't use butter on the tortilla. Just trust me on this. It kind of messes with the texture. Trust me. Now, I truly believe that using paneer is going to be the next big thing in keto dough making. Enough so that I decided to call it panhead. So pan for paneer and head kind of in honor of fathead dough. So have fun with this recipe. If you want to add in different seasonings, do that. If you want to make the various substitutions I talked about, do that. I'd love to hear your results down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, click that like button. If you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button. If you want to be notified whenever I release a new video, tap that bell and select all for notifications. And finally, if you're interested in supporting the Serious Keto Test Kitchen, click that join button and see what memberships have to offer. Thanks for watching.